Hello and welcome back to my channel. This is Andy in Singapore. If you haven't done so, I'd like to remind you to click the like and subscribe buttons because I've got new videos uploaded every week just for you. In today's video, we are going to do a full review of the Boldr Safari Maasai Mara GMT model. So this watch is from the Safari model line and it features a GMT movement, of course. Well, the model name is GMT, and this model features the Seiko NH34 movement, which is getting really popular these days with many micro brands. And of course, Boldr happens to be one of the micro brands coming out from my backyard of Singapore. And I must say this is a pretty interesting model because this watch sort of incorporates all the plus points of different watch models, different watch brands. So the model name Maasai Mara, this is named after one of the famous nature parks in Kenya. I haven't been there, all right? I think maybe I'll never even go there in this lifetime, but right, this is for background knowledge, named after some sort of a safari nature reserve, and the case back here has a printing of one of the animals found in the nature reserve. In this case, it is a rhinoceros. So this is a random print, so if you buy another watch, same model, you will get a different animal printed on the case back sapphire crystal. And now if the lens zoom in very slightly, let's take a closer look at the Boldr Safari and let's go through some of the key specs found on the watch. It's got a case size of 40 millimeters. It also has this really shallow type of crown guard, and the crown, doesn't protrude very much. So I would say overall it remains a rather compact GMT sports watch with this bezel here, which is non-rotating. All right, the 24-hour GMT bezel is non-rotating. It's got a total thickness of around 13 millimeters. That's measuring from the base of the caseback sapphire crystal to the top of the flat sapphire crystal, which sits just a little bit proud of this bezel that slopes downwards. So one thing I'd like to highlight to you is how thin the case back is, or rather how little it protrudes from the mid case. So typically if you've got a GMT movement, you will see lots of protrusion, 2 to 3 millimeters. In this case, it's much less. Let me just place the case this way. You will see, right, is it even in focus? So you will see that it doesn't protrude that much. And I'm pretty sure along with the mid case here, it's going to give really nice wearability. Lug width on the Safari is 20 millimeters, and together with this quick release bracelet, you'll see there are 2 pins here for quick release. This is going to be a strap monster. Pair it up with a nice rubber strap, a blue one as well. I think it's going to look really nice, sporty. Might want to pair it up with a leather strap as well. Again, it's just going to fit the watch very well. L to L measurement here is 41.6 millimeters. Again, with the mid case, the curve of the mid case here is going to lend itself to a really good size and wearability. As mentioned earlier in the video, this is powered by Seiko's NH34 movement, and this watch here is rated to 200 meters water resistance. More information not found on Boldr's official website. We've got a bezel size of 39 millimeters diameter of the bezel, and crystal size is about 32 millimeters. So all very good proportions, very classic proportions. Finally, we've got a crown size of 6.8 millimeters. Now this crown here is a little bit shallow, but because of the knurling here, I think it still offers very good grip. This is a brand new watch with all the protective films intact and all that. With the bracelet unsized, this watch weighs in at 150 grams. So typically, for those of you who need to remove about 2 to 3 links, it's going to come in at around 140 grams. I think this is a very manageable weight for a full stainless steel bracelet watch. At the time of this video, the Boldr Safari GMT goes for Singapore dollars $640. Let's move on and talk a little bit on the build quality and the overall case design of this watch. Alright, so actually this watch has got really good finishing. So, running my fingers on the underside of the case, on the edges, on the tips of the lugs, there are no sharp spots, okay, no hot spots, as random Rob would have put it. And I think in terms of overall finishing, it's not too bad. So I really like this case finishing or the overall finishing found on the Boldr Safari. As mentioned in my unboxing video, I feel that this case finishing here is not quite satin because I don't see any brushing, but it also doesn't feel or look like it is bead blasted. You know, those cheap type of lower end type of homage brands and all that, typically when they do a bead blasted finish, it's going to feel and look cheap, but this one is quite the opposite. It feels really nice, and I can't really make out what type of finishing this is. Not brush, also doesn't feel like bead blasted, it just looks good. And there is a hint of beveling here. So just take a look as I turn the watch case, you will see that there's a really nice bevel. And we've got drilled lugs here. So again, this is going to be a strap monster because it even makes it easy for you to change straps. And onto this bracelet here, it's really nice with very short links. Each link is really short, so I think you are likely to get a really good fit together with the micro adjust found on the clasp here. There are only 3, but I think together the short links, these things are going to help very much when it comes to bracelet resizing. So one thing I don't like would be this clasp here. That looks a little bit ancient. Looks a bit outdated in my opinion, alright? So this design, this look here is really old school. These days, even micro brands, they have progressed and they've got the 2 trigger type or a nicer looking one. This is pure generic stuff. Okay, so again, I like this quick change system. All right, it really works. All right, so you just pinch the 2 knobs and then you remove the strap. And moving on to talk about the overall dial design and its color combination, I really love this blue, all blue look. There is a 2-tone bezel going on. The top half of the bezel is done in a darker shade of blue, but overall it doesn't look gaudy, doesn't look overpowering. Really nice shade of blue. There is no sunburst, but there is a thin layer of sheen applied to this dial here. Good. And of course, the main draw of this dial would be the California dial. Top half is in Roman numerals, bottom half is in Arabic numbers. Don't get to see many of these things, but of course, the design, the overall design, the looks could be a mishmash of different brands, different design cues. Obviously, it has the Batman look, Batman or Batgirl from a very, very popular R brand. And then it's got the California dial look, probably taken from Panerai, or is it Nomos? I'm not too sure. I've got a really nice minute track done in the railroad type of look here. On the dial itself, there is no chapter ring on this watch, and again the hands look like they're sort of a mishmash from various different designs and all that. We've got sword hands and we've got pencil hands combined for the hours and minutes, and the GMT hand again reminds me of the R brand type of GMT hand found on their Explorer models. Now let's take a quick look at the Lume shot of the Boldr GMT Maasai Mara. Wow, I must say I'm very impressed, pleasantly surprised by this level of Lume quality from Boldr. Alright, so the hour markers, of course, they are nicely loomed, they are big and well evenly applied, but even this bezel here with the markers, they are really nicely done, glows really brightly, and I think this is more or less on par with Seiko Lume standards. This is a stage 3 shot and my wrist is 17 cm. Thickness is not overbearing, coming in at around 13mm, but it feels a little bit top heavy. I think this is largely due to the fact that the design here of the case is more or less slab-sided. You can see that there are no curves. The mid case is cut this way, slab-sided, and there's a hint of top heaviness to this watch. But overall, in terms of L to L measurements, I think, as well as the case size, Wearability is not an issue at all. Here's a quick size comparison between the Boldr and my own BB58. So both watches are really similar when it comes to the overall dimensions. We've got 40 millimeters versus 39 millimeters. Of course, in terms of thickness, right, the Boldr here is obviously thicker than the BB58. And I would say these two watches, they fit very similarly. All right, the fit and wearability of these two watches very similar, with the Boldr being just a bit thicker as well as just that bit heavier. So in summary, I would say the Boldr Safari GMT is a rather interesting addition to their catalog, with all the micro brands, you know, adding on GMT watches and the NH34 movements into their models. I do feel that this Boldr here is slightly priced on the higher side of things, because I see many different brands using NH34, and those watches are typically about 400 to 500 Singapore dollars. All right, I'm not going to mention the brands or the models specifically. All right, I'm just saying across the board, but the Boldr here does feel that it is priced slightly higher, just a bit higher. Perhaps you're paying more for the original designs in terms of case design and all that stuff, and all the good things you get with the quick change bracelet and the level of finishing. So there you have it. That was my full review of the Boldr Safari GMT Maasai Mara. If you like this watch, if you like this video, please remember to subscribe to my channel. Come back here every week for more watch review videos. This is Andy in Singapore signing off together with George, Rolly Polly and Pixie. Bye bye.